record on this computer. Danke, Arli. Danke. Oh, you're amazing. Wunderbar. Ich beginne noch einmal. Je recommence. I re-begin. That's not an English word. But you know what I mean. Es gibt, es gibt einen Jungen. Der Junge ist Georg. Er ist in Kalifornien. Arli, Daniela und. We're waiting for Rose. Und. Ivana, Dankeschön. Avis mögen Bananen. Beatrice, Heidi und. Franzi mögen keine Bananen, keine Kangaroos, kein Bier, keine Bananen. Georg will an den Strand. Er will schwimmen. Der Haifisch ist gefährlich. Gefährlich. Yeah, the parents say that all the time. I grew up in Switzerland, so my mother always, Franzi, das ist gefährlich. Oh, gefährlich. Oh. Aber alles ist gut. Everything is fine. Everything is good. Don't worry. Alles ist gut. Okay,
Franzi, there are no sharks in Switzerland.
Nein, however, Georg, der Junge, ist in Kalifornien. Und in Kalifornien gibt es gefährliche Haifische. Oh, sehr gefährliche Haifische, ja, in Kalifornien. Let's all read together and I invite you to unmute yourself and just do it out loud and just let her rip. Es gibt einen Jungen. Der Junge ist Georg. Er ist in Kalifornien. Arli, Daniela und Avis mögen Bananen. Beatrice, Heidi und Franzi mögen keine Bananen. Georg will an den Strand. Er will schwimmen. Der Haifisch ist gefährlich. Alles ist gut. Ja, so what movie would be Der weiße Hai?
Jaws.
So in German, the translation of the movie Jaws is Der weiße Hai, the white shark. So you can say Hai, der Hai, oder Sie können sagen der Haifisch. Both are fine. Hai is perfectly adequate. Der Hai, der weiße Hai. Wunderbar, sehr gut. Herzlich willkommen. Wo sind wir? Hier sind wir. Also, we have our little interjections. Im Ernst? Seriously? Im Ernst? In earnest? Im Ernst. So, who wants to be our Im Ernst person today? Who's the skeptical one? Ah, danke, Ivana. Whenever you see an opportunity, just throw it at us. Im Ernst? Really? Seriously? And then we have na klar.
Na klar.
Na
Na
klar.
klar.
Of course. Clear. That's clearly. Who wants? Oh, we can all do that. We can all do that. And of course, we have wunderbar. And I say wunder. You say
Bar.
wunder.
Bar.
Wunder, wunder.
Bar.
Sehr gut. Ist in Kalifornien. Klasse.
Ja.
Ist in
In
Kalifornien.
Kalifornien? Ja.
Ja. Ist in Kalifornien. Klasse.
Ja.
Ist in Honolulu.
Nein.
Nein, natürlich, das ist doof. Ist
Das ist
in
doof.
Kalifornien. Klasse.
Ja.
Ist in Anchorage
Nein.
oder in Kalifornien.
Ist in Kalifornien.
Ist in Kalifornien. Klasse.
Kalifornien.
Ist in Manitoba oder in Kalifornien.
Ist in Kalifornien.
Natürlich, na klar, ist in
Na klar.
Kalifornien. Wunderbar.
Super.
Daniel,
Ja.
ist in Kalifornien?
Nein.
Nein?
Ist in New York. No. Ist in
Ich bin-
Dubai.
Wer, okay, everybody. Wer ist in Dubai? Du bist in Dubai?
Ja.
Daniel ist in Dubai.
Im Ernst?
in Dubai.
Ja.
Du
Okay.
bist in Dubai.
Ja.
Ah, wunderbar.
Bar.
Ja. Gibt es ein Känguru in Dubai?
Ja. Ich bin mit Känguru in Dubai.
Im Ernst?
Känguru.
Ja,
Das ist ein Animal.
Na klar.
Du bist in Dubai mit einem Känguru.
ja.
Das ist toll.
Das ist ein bisschen doof. Ja.
Im Ernst?
A pet.
Aber sehr interessant, Daniel. It's
Ja.
an interesting choice of partner. Also,
Show us the kangaroo.
Daniel ist in Dubai
Wo ist
mit einem Känguru. Okay, so Daniel,
Ja.
du bist, and I have to show you the conjugations here. Du bist in Dubai mit, and I can add that here. That's an important little conjunction. With. Du bist in Hawaii mit einem Känguru.
Ja. Mit zwei Känguru.
Mit zwei Kängurus. Das ist
Ja.
wunderbar. Klasse.
Ja.
Ist in Dubai mit zwei Kängurus.
Na klar.
Na klar.
Klar.
Wow. Fantastisch. Danke.
Fantastisch.
Ja, klasse.
Ja.
Wo, everybody go, wo
Oh.
bin ich? Wo bin ich?
Der Bar.
In
Entschuldigung?
Du bist in Switzerland?
Ich bin in der Schweiz.
Schweiz?
Nein, nein.
Nein, ich bin nicht.
Kanada?
Ich weiß.
Du weißt das, Anja. Ich möchte in der Schweiz sein. I would love to be in Switzerland. Ich möchte in der Schweiz sein. I can add that too. Ich möchte, and we have the möchte in der Schweiz sein. I would love to be in Switzerland.
Ich auch.
Ja, ich möchte in der Schweiz sein. Ivana möchte in der Schweiz sein. Aber, however, ich möchte in der Schweiz sein. Aber ich bin nicht in der Schweiz. Wo bin ich?
Utah? Kalifornien. Utah?
Make it a sentence.
Kanada?
Einen Satz.
Du bist in Utah?
Ich bin in Utah. Gute Idee, gute Idee. Ich möchte in Utah sein, aber ich bin nicht in Utah. Wo bin ich?
Du bist in Kanada.
Ja, aber das ist langweilig. That's boring. That's so true. Das ist ein bisschen
Du bist in Japan.
langweilig. Ich bin in Japan?
Japan.
Okay. Ja, ich bin in Japan. Okay, Japan.
Japan.
Japan. Like a seesaw, totally balanced.
Yes,
See that?
Fred.
Ich bin in Japan. Everybody go.
Japan.
Japan. Auf Englisch, Japan. Japan. Ja, ich bin in Japan. Ja, ich bin in Japan. Das ist richtig. Wo in Japan bin ich?
Du bist in Tokio?
Du bist in Tokio.
In
Sie
Tokio.
ist in Okinawa.
Okinawa, ist
Ja,
das in
Du bist in
Tokio?
Okinawa. Nein.
Ja.
Okinawa in Ocean.
Ist im Ozean? Am Strand?
Am Strand.
Ja, und Island.
Eine Insel.
In eine Insel.
Insel.
Oh, eine Insel.
In eine Insel.
Okay, Okinawa ist eine Insel.
Hi. Ja.
Eine Insel. Das ist
Insel.
interessant. Ist
Habe Sand, Star. Habe Star Sand.
Der Sand
Sie.
ist
Ja.
ein Stern.
Ein Stern. Aha.
Das ist schön. That's beautiful. Ja.
Bitte, no. Schön, no. How do you say very pretty?
Sehr schön.
Sehr schön.
Das ist sehr schön. Ja, sehr. Ups.
Schön.
Schön. Very
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. Sehr, sehr schön. Ja, das ist sehr, sehr schön. So, Okinawa ist nördlich von Tokio oder südlich von Tokio?
Südlich von Tokio.
Südlich von
Süd.
Tokio. Okay, und es
Nördlich
hat
von Taiwan.
nördlich von Taiwan,
Hi.
aber
Ja.
südlich von Tokio.
Südlich von Tokio.
Und es hat einen Strand mit Sand. There's a beach with sand.
Ja,
Einen
ja.
Strand mit Sand. Das ist sehr schön. Wunderbar. Ja, sehr gut. Und Mozart,
Ja,
wo bist
Oh.
du?
ich bin in Kalifornien
Oh,
mit Georg.
Im Ernst?
Was?
wunderbar.
Nee.
Warum, Mozart, warum bist du mit George, mit Georg in Kalifornien?
I have a lot of Coke.
Ja,
Coke.
totally innocent, guys. German for drug dealers.
Good quality Coke.
Viel, ich habe viel Coke, viel gutes Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Habe viel gutes Coke.
Have a lot of good Coke. Go with the flow. There we go. Du hast viel gutes Coke.
Ja, ja.
Wunderbar. Und trinkst du das Coke, bitte?
Ja,
Ja, es ist Coke, das man trinkt.
klar,
Ja, na
klar,
klar,
na klar.
natürlich.
Klar.
Ja,
Na klar.
Wunderbar. Also, Mozart, du bist in Kalifornien mit George und du hast viel gutes Coke. Ja?
ja.
Viel Gutes.
Ich bin in Kalifornien mit Georg und ich habe viel gutes Coke.
Wunderbar!
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar! Wunder!
Bar.
Wunder!
Bar.
Wunder!
Bar.
Das ist ja fantastisch. Klasse!
Ah.
Sie ist in Kalifornien mit Georg und hat viel gutes Coke.
Ja.
Im Ernst? Na klar. What else?
Natürlich. Natürlich.
Natürlich. Das ist gar nicht doof. Lisa,
Ja,
wo bist du?
ich bin in Alaska.
Oh, Alaska?
In Ernst?
Alaska.
Im Ernst? Du bist in Alaska?
Na klar,
Na klar, ich bin in Alaska.
ich bin in Alaska.
Klasse,
Ja.
Ja.
sie ist in Alaska.
Wow.
Ja, sie ist in Alaska. Klasse,
Ja.
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 wo bin ich?
Du bist
Du bist
in Okinawa.
Okinawa.
In
Japan.
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 nicht Japan.
Japan.
Sehr gut.
Japan.
Und
Japan.
wo ist Mozart?
Mozart.
Ist
Äh,
in Kalifornien.
Kalifornien.
Nein.
Georg.
It's Georg.
Georg, ja. Oh, nein. Mozart ist auf dem Mond.
Nein.
Nein? Doch, doch,
Nein.
doch. Doch, doch, doch.
Nein.
Mozart
Im
ist
Ernst?
auf dem Mond. Ja, ja, ja.
Nein,
Mozart?
Mozart
Nein.
ist in Kalifornien.
Ja.
Mit
Das ist in
Georg.
viel gutes
mit
Coke.
Georg.
Ja,
Viele gutes Cook.
we don't need George. Georg ist out. Coke ist in. Ja, natürlich. Mozart, bist du in Kalifornien?
Ja, ich bin in Kalifornien. Ich bin
Natürlich.
nicht in der
Auf dem Mond?
Auf dem Mond.
Nein,
Ich
das ist
bin
doof.
nicht.
Das ist
Natürlich.
doof.
Natürlich. Und Daniela,
Ja,
wo bist du?
ich bin in Indiana.
In Indiana? Wow,
Ja.
du bist in Indiana?
Ja,
Yes.
but ich bin aus Argentina, but ich bin in Indiana now.
Jetzt.
Jetzt. Jetzt.
Est.
Du bist in Indiana, aber, ja, aber du bist,
Komma.
du kommst oder du bist aus Argentinien.
Aus Argentinien.
Duncan.
You write aus.
Aus, oh ja, natürlich. Aus, from. And that's in the context of where you are located. Ich komme aus der Schweiz, du kommst aus Dubai, sie kommt aus Japan, sie kommt aus Alaska, sie kommt aus Argentinien, and it's usually associated with a country. So I just gave you a few incorrect examples. Ich komme aus Japan und du kommst. Anyway, let's not get lost. Du kommst aus.
No está
Aus.
Duncan. No, está.
Aus
I
Argentinien.
get it. Muy bien.
Ja, du kommst aus Argentinien.
Wunderbar.
Spanish comes out with a German. Sorry.
Daniela,
Ja.
sprichst du Spanisch?
Ja.
Ja, du
Ja.
sprichst Spanisch. Klasse,
Ja.
Ja.
Daniela ist aus Indiana und aus Argentinien und sie spricht Spanisch.
Im Ernst?
Oh.
Spanisch.
Spanisch, ja, im
Oh.
Ernst, ja.
Expressed.
Mozart,
Expressed.
ja,
Ja.
Mozart, du sprichst auch Spanisch, nicht?
Ja,
Hm.
ich spreche Spanisch.
Also,
Sie spricht auch Spanisch. Ja.
auch.
Denn ich spreche Spanisch aus. Ay, qué difícil.
Ich,
Ich
spreche.
spreche aus Spanisch.
Ja, natürlich, du sprichst auch Spanisch. Ich spreche Spanisch. Sehr, sehr gut, ja. Ivana, sprichst du Spanisch?
Na klar.
Na klar, natürlich.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Ich spreche nicht Spanisch. Ein kleines bisschen Spanisch, ja. Und Anne, du sprichst Spanisch, nicht?
Ja, na klar.
Na klar.
Ja, ich spreche auch Spanisch.
Ja, du sprichst auch Spanisch. Und Lisa, sprichst du Spanisch?
Ja, ich spreche auch Spanisch.
Sehr gut. Und Avis, du sprichst Spanisch, nicht?
Ja, ich, ja, Spanisch, I don't know.
Ich spreche Spanisch.
Spanisch.
I speak Spanish. Ich spreche Spanisch.
Ich spreche Spanisch.
Natürlich. Und
Yay.
Daniela spricht
Nein.
Spanisch.
Ich
Daniel.
spreche keine Spanisch.
Nein, du sprichst kein Spanisch.
Kein
Nein,
Spanisch.
nein. Du sprichst Chinesisch und Englisch und
Taiwanesisch.
Taiwanesisch. Natürlich.
Taiwanesisch?
Taiwanesisch.
Sí, taiwanesisch
Und
Ja.
Chinesisch.
Ja.
Chinesisch.
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 Chinesisch. Er spricht Chinesisch.
Das ist fantastisch.
Ja,
Nein.
Ja,
Nein.
Chinesisch.
Chinesisch.
Chinesisch. Ja.
Chinesisch.
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 Oh my gosh, you guys are just doing so great. Und Anne,
Ja,
du sprichst Französisch.
ja, ich spreche Französisch und Spanisch.
Spanisch und Französisch.
Ja.
So today is the a lesson brought to you by the letter sh. Spreche Spanisch, Französisch, Chinesisch. Oh my goodness, yeah. Not all the words in German are like that. Believe me.
But
Sehr, sehr gut.
Francie,
Ja.
question.
Ja, natürlich.
So SH would sound sh and S too.
And
For example, in the word Spanish, the S at the beginning sounds sh, right?
that's a brilliant observation. Richtig, ja. So whether you have in German SCH as in school, it's
Der
sh.
Schule. Ja.
If you have
Okay.
SP in German, it's sh. So it's
Sp.
actually a silent SCHP. Yeah. So that's a
Excellent.
brilliant, that was my 15 seconds of pronunciation. Und Spanish, yeah, Spanish. That's the one of the very, very, very few words, word groups in German that aren't completely phonetic. Otherwise, anything you see is what you say. So in that way, German is actually easier. Or easy to learn, yeah, less hard. So we only did one slide today, and that's perfectly fine. We had lots of fun. Let's go into oh, I wanted to, like, holy cow. Anyway, it's all good. We're moving into describe the situation, and you will be describing your situation to a celebrity, your celebrity of choice. You'll have a little rendezvous, ein Treffen, ein Meeting, ein Treffen mit Obama oder der Königin oder mit Bart oder mit Oprah oder mit Simon
Adele.
Cowell. Adele ist hier und wir haben der Stein. The Rock ist der Stein. Another
Oh, Malala.
Und Malala natürlich. But before we do, I will model for you, describe the situation. So, Daniel ist in Dubai mit 2 Kangaroos. Georg ist in Kalifornien. Ich bin in Okinawa in Japan. Und Mozart ist in Kalifornien mit Georg und Mozart hat viel Coke. Lisa ist in Alaska und Daniela ist aus Argentinien. So I did go a little bit, quite a bit beyond, sort of the basic, what we're hoping for at this stage. So ignore those parts. I'm going to give you a full minute to, you can mute yourself and just describe the situation, anything that we've talked about today or any of the previous lessons that you just want to, what spontaneously comes up for you, what language just is produced, just share that. Don't worry about grammar, just speak from the heart and pick your favorite celebrity. And in a minute, we'll check in back with you.
Franzi, how would we say England?
In England.
Oh,
England. Ja.
grazie. Danke.
Wunderbar, danke schön. Everybody, wer hat mit dem Stein gesprochen? Who spoke to the rock? Niemand. Nobody wants to talk to the guy, huh? Nein. Wer hat mit Obama gesprochen? Niemand. Nobody. Wer hat...
Ist auch Chicago?
Obama ist in Chicago, ja. And Anne, I'm giving away the plot. George will not find Coke in Chicago. Es gibt kein Coca-Cola in Chicago. But we're way ahead of ourselves.
Oder Haifisch.
Der Haifisch, ja.
Keiner.
Wer hat mit Adele gesprochen? Niemand.
English.
Doch,
How do I
Rose.
say me?
Ich, ja. Rose hat mit Adele gesprochen. Wer hat mit Malala gesprochen? Ivana, danke. Und Avis. Ja, sehr gut. Wer hat mit der Königin gesprochen? Lisa. Wer hat mit Bart Simpson gesprochen? Daniel. Und Mozart, natürlich. Und wer hat mit Oprah gesprochen? Ich auch. Daniela und Franz, sie haben mit Oprah gesprochen. Und Simon Cowell ist für Anne.
No.
Nein.
Oprah.
Nein. Du hast mit Oprah gesprochen. Ja, you would get rejected by Simon. That would not go so well. Sehr, sehr gut.
Franzi!
We would all get rejected. It's the nature of the beast. Who would like to share this or describe the situation for all of us? Danke, Avis. Bitteschön. Remember to unmute. Yeah.
Um, oh no, there ist, no. Yeah, there ist einen Jungen. Der Junge ist Georg. Georg ist in Kalifornien. Du bist in Japan. Daniel ist in Dubai mit zwei Kängurus. Ich bin in Maryland, USA mit wieder.
Hallo.
Guten Morgen.
Ich spreche Spanisch und sie wieder spreche
Französisch?
Französisch. German. Okay. Oops. I got off. Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Okay.
Kein Französisch.
Okay. Kein Französisch.
Kein Französisch. Deutsch. Huh?
Deutsch.
Sehr gut. Also, bravo! Wunderbar! Yeah! Wunder! Wunder! Ja, es gibt einen Jungen, der, what you said, I'm repeating what you said, es gibt einen Jungen, der Junge ist Georg, ist in Kalifornien, ich oder du oder ich bin in Japan, Daniel ist in Dubai mit 2 Kängurus. Du bist in Maryland in den USA. Du sprichst Spanisch und Rita spricht Deutsch. Richtig?
Richtig.
Ja! Wunderbar, super, danke. Das ist fantastisch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Sätze, 9 sentences. That's amazing. Wer möchte, here we have möchte, I would like, wer möchte die Situation beschreiben? Who would like to describe the situation? We have time for one more person today. Lisa, danke, Lisa.
Mozart ist in Kalifornien und sie haben viele gutes Coca-Cola. Sie ist mit Georg. Ich bin in Alaska. Ich habe keine Coca-Cola. Daniela ist in Indiana. Daniela ist aus Argentinien. Daniela spricht Spanisch. Mozart spricht Spanisch. Anne spricht Spanisch. Avis spricht Spanisch. Rose spricht Spanisch. Franzi spricht nicht Spanisch.
Bravo! Super! Wunderbar! Woohoo! Das ist
Wunderbar.
fantastisch. I repeat what you said so much. Where did we begin here? Mozart ist in Kalifornien. Sie hat viel gutes Coke. Sie ist mit George. Du bist in Alaska. Du hast kein Coke. Daniela ist in Indiana. Sie ist aus Argentinien. Daniela spricht Spanisch. Mozart spricht Spanisch. Anne spricht Spanisch. Avis spricht Spanisch. Und Rose spricht auch Spanisch. Aber Franzi spricht kein Spanisch. Or you could say, sie spricht nicht Spanisch. Sehr, sehr gut. Wunder.
Good.
Oh,
Wow.
look at Beatrice, look at your background. That is very impressive.
Ich bin Mozart.
Du bist Mozart, keine Frage, no question. On a scale from 1 to 5, 5, I can do this in my sleep so far. 1, I am totally lost and frustrated. Show me with your fingers where you are at. I see some 4s, I see some 3s.
5.
Yeah, okay, that's a nice, lovely improvement from last week even. Wunderbar. And we've gone obviously way out of bounds in some areas. Last thing for today, das letzte, finish the sentence and put it in the chat. Anything goes, anything goes. Your skill testing question for today.
Ich bin aus Autriche.
Ich bin aus, oh my goodness, what's happening now? You want to say from Austria?
Ja. Danke. Oh, we type it here. Okay.
Ich bin aus Österreich.
Österreich. Okay.
Ich habe Hunger. Ja, oh, natürlich. Wer hat Hunger? Ich habe Hunger. Rose, magst du Bananen?
Yeah.
Ja, okay, gut. We can add that to our story. Arlie, Daniela, Avis und Rose mögen Bananen. Sehr gut. Ich bin aus Österreich, die Katze. Ich bin aus den USA. Ich bin aus Michigan. Ich bin aus Österreich. Ich habe Hunger. Ich bin nicht aus USA. Ich bin ein Lehrer. Ja, ich bin Junge mit 2 Kangaroos. Ja, natürlich. Sehr, sehr gut. Wunderbar. Tolle Arbeit. Wonderful work. Danke, danke, danke. I'm going to stay on if you have any questions. Otherwise, auf Wiedersehen. Bis nächste Woche. And remember, es gibt kein Bier auf Hawaii. So don't bother going. And I don't even drink.
Oh, who's from Uruguay? Was that Rosa?
Entschuldigung?
Who's from Uruguay? Oh, Beatrice?
Me?
Beatrice,
Yes.
ja.
Ah, there's a name I've been trying to find for my students. And she was a wonderful character from Uruguay. Sorry, it has nothing to do with German. Is this okay?
Who?
Absolutely.
Okay. So a famous dancer. She was quite a character. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Dancer.
Like she's probably been deceased for 20, maybe even 40 years, but she was like a really well known in Uruguay. And I don't even know how to look up her name anymore.
What kind of music?
Absolutely no idea. It was before I knew how to talk about music. But I had an instructor refer to her one time, and I remember just thinking, oh, like what a fascinating life. And now that I'm teaching Spanish, I don't know the name. I thought maybe you just might. That's okay.
Yeah.
No hay problema. No importa. Gracias. Or danke.
Danke. Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, Franzi. Auf
Danke,
Wiedersehen.
ja. Auf
Yes.
Wiedersehen. Tschüss, Lisa.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Dankeschön.
I found this
I hate to admit it. Maybe it was stripping, but not like striptease. Like not stripping, but she was just she's just this incredible character. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to look her up.
yeah.
What?
I just entered famous dancers in Uruguay. This was the first hit.
Oh, candombe.
Traditional Uruguayan dancers.
Mm.
Tango, oh, natürlich, Tango, natürlich. Und in Argentinien tanzt man auch Tango.
Yeah.
Ja.
Oh,
ja.
in Argentinien.
In
sí.
Argentinien. Uruguay tanzt man Tango in Uruguay, Beatriz?
Sí.
Ja.
Sí.
Natürlich.
Argentina y Uruguay somos, how do you say, hermanos? Poco?
Brüder? Sie sind Brüder?
Yeah.
Ja.
Aha.
Ja, sie
Countries.
sind Brüder.
Sí. Aha.
Uh-huh. How would you say sisters?
Schwestern. It's another, I tell you, it's die, die Schwester.
Schwestern.
Die Schwester. Not all words in German are sh. Vast majority aren't. But today that was brought to you by the letter sh. Die Schwester.
I have a few comments.
Sure.
One thing I really liked that you did was how you had illustrated the daily reading. I had to be gone last week just to do some family stuff, and it was really helpful to just sort of pick up everything really quick, how you had the bananas on there and all that. It's like, oh, okay, got that.
That was helpful.
So that was really, like, I was just thinking like, man, she must have a lot of time on her hands or something like that. Like, because it was like really good. Like, I mean, it's like you just, everything in the reading was really very clear, especially because you had it illustrated. And, I didn't even feel like I needed translation to follow along, even though there was a lot I didn't know. And another thing you did that was really helpful was that you had gestured everything, like every sentence out of your mouth, you were moving your hands. It was like, you almost had like a tick or something, just like everything that comes out.
It was
good.
good.
Knit and it like that really helped for just like following along. And I also liked how you were really good about writing everything down. And I think if you didn't do that, I would have been completely lost. Okay. On a personal level, I felt there was too much information for me to hang on to, like maybe 3 more characters than I could possibly like hold on to at the time. But at least I wasn't lost as it was happening. Like in the moment, I wasn't lost. But when it came to describe the situation, it felt like, I was kind of holding on through the first 3, but then once we had like the next 4 or 5 characters, I'm just like trying to like hold on to what's all happening. And I felt like I didn't really own the core language component, which was like the talking about is in such and such place, because I was too focused on all the extra stuff going on. So that was the one thing that was a little bit harder, but you wrote everything down, and that did help not feel too out there.
Good. Thank you. That's very helpful feedback. And yes, I love doing these kind of slides. So I do it because I love it. And
Yes.
Thank you for the feedback on going too far, because my goal was to go to the next slide today and just do a quick review of this. And then we just kind of, I let it mushroom a little bit too far and wild, and rather than staying focused. Okay, thank you.
I think what would have been helpful, I liked everything that you did, but even some just like class yes/no questions, I think would have helped solidify the details. Like, like we could have gone through all those different places, but if we're on like Mozart is in California with a lot of good Coke, like just being able to just sort of sit on that, for a couple like class, is Mozart in California with a lot of good Coke, or is she in Mexico with a lot of good Coke?
Right.
She's in California. She's in California. And just like a quick yes, California, you know, like a few of those would have kind of helped like solidify the scene in my head before moving on to Lisa in Alaska or something like that.
You know, Francie, I think Danielle just like talking about the Coke. I think we lost him anyway.
He is in Dubai with 2 kangaroos. Come on, taking feedback from a guy like that.
Maybe
No.
maybe he wants to go to California with Mozart and join Mozart.
We have to
No,
check what's in the pouches.
Well, one thing I just want to second, Daniel, one thing that happens to me in my classes, and I don't know if it happens to you. Sometimes I stay between circling and triangulation, and it's hard to move into describing because I fear that something like this may happen. So I wonder if maybe, for instance, at the beginning, in beginning class, it's good to stay. I don't know, this is a question for everyone because I'm learning with you guys. I wonder if it would be better to stay in circling and triangling for a few weeks until students are ready to go into describing mode.
Well, when you go to the describing mode, it gets you feedback as to whether they're ready to go on and add more details. So you want to go into the describing probably a little bit sooner is what I've found, because I've been doing the TPRS for like a year now, or a year and a half. And so if you do a few sentences and then have them describe the situation, but maybe for 30 seconds or 20 seconds, and then have somebody after they've described it to either a person or like I'll get out either a hand or a little friend. Okay, do you have a muñeco, a little pet or something you can describe the situation to? And then once they say, oh, well, I did really well, then call on that person that did well to describe the situation. So have them practice it alone first, and then with everybody else, and do it a couple, 2, maybe 3 times in the amount of time.
But I have a question. How many, like a beginning one, like the first semester, how many sentences? Because my students can do sentences. How many sentences together can your students do in beginning Spanish 1 or elementary Spanish? How many sentences can they put together? Because when you go to circling, when you go to triangling, they are already saying complete sentences.
Right.
How long does, so one complete sentence is a lot, takes a lot. Maybe how many sentences in the scripture? Because I think more than 4 or 5 sentences is a lot for some students.
Right. Yeah, I would say like 4 or 5 sentences that are kind of related. Do that, and now if they're all doing well with that, now go on to another 4 or 5 sentences that are kind of related, you know, where they're using the same verb, or you just are adding a little bit of details. You kind of gauge it by how the students are doing with it. If the students are doing
I get that. I've been teaching for a long time, but I noticed since I'm using TPRS, one of my students dropped the classes. I thought I was going too fast. So I'm just, trying to, I know how to do it, but it's not that easy. It's more difficult than it seems to gauge, like Daniel said. I'm just following what Daniel said.
Yeah.
I agree that I like today, I got a lot, but I thought we went to describe the situation. I didn't even volunteer because I didn't feel like I was ready to say like 10 sentences, even if they were related.
Right.
So that's why I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. I like what you're saying, Danielle. I think I like to describe the situation because it's like, I think Lisa just said, it's a good gauge, like how comfortable do people feel with what we have. I was doing a Chinese class last night and I just set a timer, like every 10 minutes, do a DTS, like every 10 minutes, even though she knew no Chinese. It was really good for knowing like, okay, are we ready to add some new information or do we just need to sit on what we have? And it was really helpful because we went too far with some new information and a DTS was a good indicator. Okay, we need to dial back. And so I think they're good to have in there, especially even with earlier learners, because it can be like an indicator for the teacher, like, okay, I'm going too fast, or, oh, they're ready for more.
Exactly.
How many sentences that doesn't really scare students, because some of them are not ready and some of them are so ready. So to gauge that is not easy sometimes, or describe the situation that is a little more coached at the beginning. For instance, you know, you go ahead of them, like, you know, like Craig showed, like point, you know, how's it, pause and point, you know, if, for instance, if you're coaching to describe the situation, like point to the bananas and they know what to say, or something like that. Well, I am personally working on something like that so they don't get scared, because some of them may get scared. In my classes, for instance, they're not required. So I'm kind of like independent. And so I'm just trying to retain students in the classes. So I think that, see, when the class is required, if they drop, but my classes is very important. So one student dropping means that maybe, well, maybe he had other problems, but I saw his face, he was a little scared. So if you really pay attention, some that get scared, if maybe some more coached describe the situation will help sometimes. I know it would help me today if I will have, like, I know it's a lot of work though. So I'm a teacher too, and sometimes it's too much work, but you know, a more coach describe the situation, or maybe make the gesture in advance or show the image in advance so the student remembers, because to remember 7 or 8 sentences, it's difficult.
I have a question.
Francie did very well describing the situation for us
really
first, giving us the example. And I think that helps the students as well.
Yeah. I have a question for Danielle. When you say 7 or 8 sentences, do you mean like 7 or 8 different slides, or like 7 sentences on the same slide? Like how we had Mozart in California, Lisa in Akron, or Ann Arbor, I forget.
Yeah, maybe I need to take better notes. I needed to take better notes and just read from my notes. For instance, if I will have to describe the situation today, the good thing, the good thing is that Lisa is really patient with me. I mean, I felt really good in the class, because the good thing, like I said, I wasn't put on the spot. So that's great. And I learned from all of you. So the class, I will give it definitely a 10. I think it's my fault that maybe, for instance, if I had to describe the situation today, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences in my DTS. But I don't know, it was, and then I would have to do my homework. I didn't do my homework. So maybe that's why I felt a little lost. So
Personally, I think
maybe
5 sentences is amazing. And I've had students where they said 1 sentence and everybody was ecstatic because that was so amazing for that student, and others just, you know, 12 sentences right off the bat. So from personally, that's why I think, you know, I think Craig even said, you model it, you give them opportunity to do it by themselves, and then you pick on the strong ones, and maybe a couple of weeks in, you can dare to pick on a student for DTS who is maybe not the strongest student, and this way they can grow into that.
No,
Personally,
it was
I
great,
don't have
Francie,
an
and
expectation.
I like the way you, I love the way you do it. I really learned a lot from my classmates today, for instance, because, you know, that repetition that you do, that was amazing. So I was just wondering, not just like, I guess my comments were about my own classes too, you know, sharing. So.
And I really want to thank you, Danielle, because, you know, we're poking all that fun about your kangaroos, but your comment actually was truly a breakthrough for me right now, because it didn't occur to me to circle or triangle on a side story. But it didn't occur to me, and now I can do that. And what's interesting is the very, very first practice lesson I ever taught as a student teacher, the feedback I got was lots of enthusiasm, Francie, and you need to consolidate. You need to repeat, you need to tie things up. You can't just explode and explode and explode the whole time.
You gotta, okay, we talked about this and da. So if you're back in the future, feel free to intervene and say, Francie, we need to consolidate, slow down, stop exploding.
Thank
Well,
you,
as
Francie.
a
And
f-
I commend you on all the work you did. This is a lot of work, volunteering to do this. I couldn't have done it. So you're amazing. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you for showing up, because that's my opportunity for teaching. I don't have a class right now.
Thank
You
you.
can come to my class anytime.
Thank you. I might
What are
just.
you teaching?
Are you the Spanish in the afternoon?
I speak Spanish and French depending on the rotation. Right now, it's all French.
Oh, okay.
I had
I'm
Spanish
Dennis-
not
last
on that
semester.
roster, though.
I
You're
actually
teaching
invited.
French?
I actually invited
That's
Anne
good.
into this group. She's a teacher in our school district, a colleague of mine. So she's not actually in TPRS training, but she has
Ah.
TPRS training from years and years and years ago.
And I've
And I
signed
d-
up for August with Michelle.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to join.
Oh, yes.
I have some French background that I took a long time ago, but I would like to, yeah, definitely. If you send us your information, I would love to.
Okay, and Daniela, check
Yes.
up. Oh my gosh. Oh, if I can just find it now. I don't know if I can.
I'll send you my email in the chat, and you
Okay,
can,
do that. Yeah, because
yeah,
there's a
thank
name
you.
here that is
That's
amazing
exciting.
for fun stories for TPRS and Spanish that Michelle
Thank
gave
you.
me.
That would be amazing.
Okay. So what I wanted to say, Francie, thank you for inviting me to this group. It's bizarre learning a new language, but I like to keep it real for my students because, like the last one I did was a little bit of Swahili, just putting myself out there so that I always remember what it's like for my beginners. And the thing that Michelle has said over and over, and that Blaine has said over and over, and Bess, who does the French version, is if you think you're going painstakingly slow, go slower, because as a fellow bomb or exploder, and one of the things that that has worked for me in the classroom, I have these little whiteboards, like little minis, and so the stuff that is completely off track but is good for my advanced student and going to keep that person interested, I just, whatever weird archaic phrase we just came up with, I put on her board or his board. And anybody who's interested can look at that same board, but only the stuff that I want everybody to know and master goes on the paper or the smart board or a front board, like whatever I want them to know that I want to repeat. That's kind of how I keep myself on track. And my TA is awesome for that as well. She'll write down what she knows that I was going to do. And that leaves me free to, go with the flow with the others. Because yeah, I'm loving having all these questions, and I don't know if anybody's gone to the site yet. Daniela, it's in Spanish as well. If you go to Blaine's site, there are these, like you saw the cards that Francie was showing us earlier. It's on there for free under free resources.
I was thinking about putting
those
my
out in
sentences
colors.
together. No, but I will look at the video. If you have the site, if it's here, I'll find it. Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Because what I was going to say,
Blaine.
under the free resources, if you guys haven't gone
Okay.
there, it's
Thank you.
amazing. Some of the things that you can just get printed out for your classroom, the key question words, the exclamations. I forget what we call those, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Great tips.
Okay. So I'll look for that email. Where's that chat? Okay.
Yeah. Francie put the TPRS books in the chat.
Yeah. That's the portal. Yes. I know how to find it.
Yeah.
I just,
Sure.
yeah. The TPRS over there is, yeah, they're really great materials. Yeah. That I've been using.
Well, go forth and enjoy your weekend, the rest of your weekend.
Okay. Danke. Danke, danke.
Danke. Tschüss. Bis nächstes Mal. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Tschüss.